Good morning, everybody. We'll wait till you're on. Is everybody on? Okay. So happy to see you today. Yes. Yes. So let's start with meditation. Take your attention inside. Today we're going to do something a little different. Feel into feel into whatever feels like the center of your body. The balance point. And see if you can drop your attention into that point, wherever it is. And allow, first of all, your body to relax. Holding your attention there. Feel everything around it relax. Take a deep breath. Let go of anything that feels like it's holding on the exhale. And do that a total of 3 times, each relaxing deeper each time at your own pace. And then allow your mind to relax and drop into this balance point. Again, taking 3 breaths and very intentionally releasing yourself into this point. All parts of yourself. Mind means mental, emotional, spiritual, everything dropping into this place. All awareness. And now bring the most profound love and compassion that you can to this place. You can use white light. And see how deeply you can release in this place. And holding yourself in this energy, allow yourself to bring the most potent theme or location or situation that is the focus of self-rejection, self-hatred, or whatever words you use. If you can bring the most potent of that inner struggle to this safe, energetic place and surround it with love and compassion. Of course, inviting all the gods, angels, Anasa, every part of the multiverse, which is founded on unconditional love. And see how much of that hardcore self-rejection can just melt. Keep breathing directly into this place. And hold no particular expectation. This is the first time we've ever done this. Just allow the process to begin. Unconditional love is not attached to outcome. Allow that thought, that understanding to permeate this healing. And now allow that unconditional love to spread throughout your being. You may feel a lot of heat. Just hold to your unconditional love. And see if your breathing doesn't begin to expand as you just allow this unconditional love to permeate your entire being. And now feel into the rhythm in your own central channel. Seeing the white light. Allow your entire being to radiate with sacred space. We are all in sacred space, the sacred space of Anasa Temple. And let the love in deeper. And now choose whoever you would like to share this love with, someone in your life. And feel yourself expand into that as you visualize that person. Allow the love to just pour out of you toward that person as you wish them well. And now turn that love around and offer it to yourself and allow yourself to receive. And now holding your attention in sacred space, slowly at your own pace, open your eyes. Hmm. So, how is everybody? Good morning. Mm. Mm. How was that?
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. That
Mm.
was so beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, for
Oh,
me, it was so very noticeable that I had no difficulty at all focusing on giving my abundant love to a particular person. But when asked to reverse that, and focus that on myself. That was very, that was very difficult. And it just made me a little sad that I couldn't do that.
Would you like a little context?
Sure.
So, this is a matrix of belief problem that we all have. Every single one of us was taught that self-love was lazy, bad, egotistical,
Selfish, selfish.
selfish, arrogant, and the wrong thing to do in all circumstances. We were
Yeah.
all taught this, unless we had very enlightened parents, which at the time we grew up was the chances of that are slim to none. That we had enlightened parents. I mean, they do exist, but so this is not just your experience. This is why we did it in exactly that way, is because it's so important to live through the experience of our undisclosed self-rejection so that we can really, really begin to bring unconditional love to that. Because unconditional love is what we're made of. We can always bring it to another person. Almost always, unless we're really in a completely mucked up state. We can find it to offer others with ease. But offering it to ourselves is not considered okay. And this is the point where we are vulnerable to control by others. Because in this inability to access unconditional love for ourselves, we lose our power. And so somebody who comes in who's stronger in their desire to control us, then our ability to access unconditional love for ourselves can take advantage of us by manipulating that place, which is weak. Now, that's kind of a lot to take in, but we've all experienced that. You know, it may be just in a parking attendant who yelled at us, or, you know, some simple experience like that where we feel completely devastated because somebody spoke to our weakness. And so we feel inappropriately aggravated or destroyed even because someone else could step into that space and cause us to harm ourselves. And so this is interestingly, especially a feminine problem. Because men are taught to be powerful. Present company excluded. Both of you.
And
So,
women are taught to surrender to the man.
yes. And so when they enforce their power, that part of you that tries to stand up is weak. Intentionally. This is matrix of belief programming. And that's why we did this exercise, and something to be healed within ourselves. And this is how you heal it. You go to the Anasa temple, you surround yourself with sacred space and you call in the places of self-rejection and offer unconditional love. And you can access that unconditional love by, first of all, offering it to someone else. And then you know what it feels like. Since we're so good at that, that's easy to find. So then we find it and we bring it back to ourselves. And every time we do that, it becomes more familiar. And we allow the resistance to rise up and ask it to explain itself. Really engage that resistance. Understand that self-love with a capital S, because what we are loving is the love itself and the capacity to experience that love. And ultimately, in healing ourselves, we are able to begin healing the collective. But we can't heal the collective if we are not healed ourselves. And so our first task is to allow ourselves to experience unconditional love. Even though we can offer it, we aren't allowing ourselves to experience it. But because we're all conduits of it, we can offer it back to ourselves. And that's how we melt that. If you feel into it, it's a very hardcore darkness. Any questions about that? Does that answer? Does that help?
Very much so, thank you. And you're exactly right, it is a hardcore darkness, which makes it, when I'm asked to focus that love onto myself, that's what I'm confronted with, that hardcore darkness. And I can't figure out how to get out of that. So now I understand that going to the Anasa temple will help me with that. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I think it also helps to understand that it's a collective problem. It's not just our individual inability to experience unconditional love. Because whenever we talk about it to ourselves as our individual weakness, then we feel helpless and we go to despair. All of us do this. This is not any one person's pathology. We all do it because we can't see the way out of darkness. There's no light in the dark.
Right.
So we go to the light, we surround ourselves with it, we offer light into light, and then we receive light into light until we
So
are, go ahead.
so good to remember that it's not personal.
Yes, it's not personal, it's the collective. And in healing ourselves, we are beginning to heal the collective.
Good.
And so, this brings it to a concept that I'm working on myself, but don't completely understand. So please forgive me because I can't be articulate about it. I can just tell you that the two things exist. And one is what we feel as righteous anger, which is completely ego-based. And the other is divine righteousness. Divine righteousness. That came in because we're telling a secret. Divine righteousness is when we stand up for and with unconditional love. We're not going to say more about it for now because Rebecca's still integrating this aspect of love in action. We'll say it like that. So it would be worthwhile to write these two phrases down so that you can begin to think about what they mean. Righteous anger and divine righteousness. And righteous anger is connected to ego, even though it's righteous. And divine righteousness is unconditional love in action. And this is the capacity that is most often harmed in young girls. It's harmed in young men too, but in a different way. But it's the way we are vulnerable to control still. And the difference between these two is lived through experience, which once we're paying attention to the difference, we will become aware of. But it's kind of a fundamental linchpin in all of us in our becoming vehicles of unconditional love. What else? Does that make sense? Mhm. Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm so glad we did that walkthrough, or more than a walkthrough, because it seemed to need every piece to put the puzzle together. I don't know, it was just so helpful. Thank you.
Well, you're so welcome. There's another way to say this, and that is that for want of a better word, we'll use soul, S-O-U-L, that our soul is unconditional love. That's what we're made of. And every time a soul comes and embodies a human being, it begins as unconditional love. But it comes through filters. It's immediately exposed to the filters of our environment. And So we don't always know that we have access to it except through the Anasa temple. But in understanding that that is what we are uncovering in ourselves as we work deeper, that's the reason we go to the Anasa temple, is to experience that unconditional love within ourselves. Because of course we don't go anywhere. we we go to a safe place that we find in ourselves where we are able to entertain unconditional love. And as we can only experience ourselves as unconditional love by expressing it, and then we have difficulty turning it around and taking it in, it's the same. That's why we have the Anasa temple, so there's sacred space. And so we are climbing backwards in time and space to our fundamental essence. We're climbing through the damage. At the same time, at any point, especially in the Anasa temple, we can allow ourselves to experience that unconditional love. We've all done it numerous times. And what happens over time is those experiences get closer together. Until one day we stop running in and out and we just stay there in ourselves. And we all know it happens in fits and starts. And sometimes when we're the most disappointed with the whole process in ourselves, we suddenly take a giant leap. And so there's no hurrying it. There is just every day paying attention to it in whatever way we can. I'm discovering for myself, this is Rebecca speaking, that, ecstatic dance is sometimes more helpful to me than sitting in silence and watching myself entertain thought after thought after thought after thought and trying to release it. And sometimes just letting go and the freedom of moving is the healing that's required in the moment. And sometimes that, music is a complete distraction. And other times it's an enormous relief. So we all have different channels that are open at different times and in different ways. What else? How may we serve further? Yes.
I don't know if I can articulate this except for you've really made me realize that the places where I've gotten in the most, I'm going to say trouble, is when I'm looking for unconditional love from other people.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's a real kind of conundrum there because we need that connection, you know. So you don't want to like not be connected. But yeah, to just remember that it that's not where it's coming from. Yeah. So thank
Yes. The
you.
unconditional love is inside us.
Right.
Absolutely. And we think because we're capable of putting it out, that that's what people are putting toward us. But the way to see through that is to go to an Anasa temple and experience unconditional love and compare it. And that'll tell you if it's real or not. And, you know, unconditional lust can feel like unconditional love. And there's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with having that experience. The thing to do is understand what experience you're really having so that it doesn't control you. We are free. There's no judgment about anything except what we put on it. And most of our limitations are bound they're from matrix of belief, not from any particular understanding of ultimate reality. And you know, this is why the matrix of belief is so powerful. Nobody wants us to be free. Nobody in power. Because when a person becomes autonomous, which we define as living from unconditional love, they are no longer controllable or particularly predictable. Because they no longer operate under the laws of matrix of belief. And so this is why we want you to begin thinking about what divine righteousness is and what that might look like. And we'll say that you can't tell the difference from watching on the outside. Between righteous anger and divine righteousness. And connection begins at home, inside ourselves. When we are connected to our own source as unconditional love, then we are creating connection. And when you are operating from that, then you just watch carefully to see what comes back. Because you're not relating from weakness in that position. You're standing in your own power. And there's no confusion when one is standing in unconditional love. And that's one way to tell the difference between righteous anger and divine righteousness. Are we standing in anger or are we standing in unconditional love? The behavior may look the same. How may we serve further? So, if you're willing, we'd like to try something else in meditation. So, take your attention inside again to a place that feels central in your own being. Breathe into that space. And each of us is going to our own Anasa temple. So we reach out and open the door, step inside. And there are two chairs facing each other. And we sit down in one of the chairs. And we invite our soul consciousness to come and occupy the other chair. And as we allow that information, we can embrace our true friend. Allow this experience to permeate. All frequencies and dimensions of who we are throughout time and space. Allow yourself to expand. Now offer this love to another. And now offer it to yourself. When you're ready, gently open your eyes. We welcome your feedback. And we get it. If you want to stay there, that's totally fine. Anything? Nancy. Oops.
Well, I had a little trouble with that. And so it just made the realization more clear and um and more practice is what needs to happen with me. But yeah, it is I felt sad, but I also realize this is a step that's big for me. So yeah, I think it's just an awareness that's going to grow and grow.
Absolutely. The first step to any healing is realizing we're injured.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm very grateful for it. I'm very grateful for it. and I'm going to be
The
spending
thing
some
is-
time here.
Well, the thing is, every part of the process is, we want to say, to be honored,
Yeah,
because it's all part of unconditional love. It's all part, and pain is the way through. Following the pain,
yeah,
even though we want to go in the opposite direction.
yeah.
But we can say wholeheartedly that the it's worth getting to the other side. That's what we'll say. We'll just say it like that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, and we all have glimpses of it.
Yeah.
We all come in and out of it.
Yeah. Well, I'm so pleased to feel it in myself and realize what I've been giving out has been putting out and not receiving in that regard. I'm just very pleased to actually feel that.
Yes, because, you know, we've always been told that service is the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we give it all,
Yeah.
expecting it to come back. And so there is the righteous anger that feels totally appropriate until we really have healed. And then there's divine righteousness, which
Yeah.
has a completely different, that heals the collective
Yeah.
because it's shocking.
Yeah. I felt the divine righteousness before. It was so powerful. And it came from came from me in a knowing, in such a strong sense. And so I've had that experience, but not near enough. Yeah.
Right.
I
Yeah.
haven't had to think about it. It just was like, what, pow, it's right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Without, yeah, not even thinking about it. Just like the right thing to say. A
Yes.
conviction in that. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And sometimes it can even be light, you know, what you say, but it's
Yeah.
so potent.
Yes. Yeah. Just in the fact that I didn't have to think that it was divine righteousness. It just was there for me, and you know it when it feels right. And so I just embrace knowing that I've had the experience. And yeah, it's really been a good class this morning. I'm very happy for it. Thank you.
So are we. Yeah.
Thank you.
So welcome. And, you know, we're so grateful for the shared experience because it's so lonely to face one's pain in this arena. And so easy to judge ourselves as failure when we're on the precipice of new understanding.
Very true. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Yes.
Oh,
This is
please.
this
This
is
is a
wonderful. Yeah.
great
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a neighbor who's a little frail, a little older than me, and I saw her when she was taking a little walk down the street, and she says, I think, what did she say? I think everyone who comes here they're just all have such courage and power, just to be born here, courage and strength, and they're all heroes. And I said, that's pretty interesting. It was interesting thing to hear. And I think she's right in so many ways.
Yeah, she's somebody who's lived a long time
Yeah, she has.
and well.
Yeah.
Lived
Yes.
well.
Yes. It
Yeah.
seems so. Yeah. So
Yeah.
thanks for this morning. Thank you.
Oh, but this goes to show, enlightenment isn't just in the 1 in 3 billion that happen to
Yeah.
rise into a position of recognition.
Yeah.
There are lots of silent
I think
witnesses.
so. I think so. Yes. Which is very refreshing.
Well, it brings us back to the whole subject of dying well.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to report that my friend Swallow, he left about a week ago, but he held in that state for way over a week.
Wow.
And yeah.
A lot was completed in that
Yeah.
time period.
Yeah. And so death has been very close to me lately, and there's been a fair amount of death in my life, as far as my mother left when I was 25, and my brother left 5 years ago, and so it's such a, when it's close to you like that, you learn to acknowledge it is so much a part of life. So I knew, but I'm getting to know more and more. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Until you've experienced someone close, it's not
yeah.
real.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh my God, I had no idea.
Yeah. It has to hit you. So thank you.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anybody else? So let's get quiet again for a few more minutes and just enjoy meditation. And we'll be quiet. Mm. Thank you so much for coming today. It's been so wonderful to be with you. So much love. Till we meet again.